And so finally, we now have Matt's pick of the week. And for this week, I am not going to talk about a subject that relates to animation, but instead, this is something that affects everybody, and not just in one country, but all around the world. And honestly, I feel very thankful that I have Filmbook, who would give me an opportunity to have something like this where I can freely speak my mind. And at this point, I feel like even though this is not something that a lot of people want to hear about and they want to be distracted with other subjects, I think it's still very important to go in depth of what's going to happen and know what to do at this point, because I can imagine there are many people out there, especially in the animation community, that feel so lost and they just don't know what to do with themselves. So at this point, I just want to go out and give a helping hand to see what I can do. Like, this is the best that I can try to offer. So the news is, unfortunately, as you guys may have heard, even though it was a very tight race, like it was absolutely neck to neck, America has apparently chosen Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States for the next 4 years, from 2017 up to 2021, or at least like when he'll officially be president. And even though, yes, half of the United States is pretty much happy that they pretty much decided to let him be president, and they're happy that it actually worked out. But the other half of America and the rest of the world are pretty much in total shock that this actually happened. Like, I've never seen social media and people all around the world that are in complete fear over an event that happened in the United States since the 9/11 disaster. It is that bad. Because here's the thing. I understand that Hillary Clinton is not necessarily a perfect candidate. Like, yeah, there have been a lot better ones, but the thing is with Hillary, she's just your typical bad politician. I mean, that's just politics for you. But with Donald Trump, he has proven himself to be possibly the worst candidate that you can ever imagine. Like, this is a man who truly outspoken himself to fully become this representative of all hatred in general. Like, this is a man who completely disrespects women, completely disrespects the disabled, an absolute racist, an absolute fascist, and someone who clearly is against the LGBT community. Like, this is a man who hates everybody that is not white, that is not male, that is not in perfect condition with his body, that is not straight, and that is not, that's not rich. Like, and also that is not Christian as well. So everybody around the world was pretty much thinking, there is no way that the American people would be so stupid to elect this man to lead America, that his scare tactics to put everybody in fear, the way Donald Trump would say that all Muslims are terrorists, that all Mexicans are rapists, and that he would do whatever, that he would always grab the pussy of women, that he would do all these things. A man who would completely disrespect everyone else that is not him. That America wouldn't be that stupid to put him as president. Yet look what happened. Somehow, the American people proved the rest of the world wrong. And this is what happened. He's now the president of the United States. And the thing is that, I have been frequently outspoken about that I am more against Trump. I wouldn't say that I'm more of a Hillary supporter. I'm more anti-Trump than anything. And often I have been criticized, of course. I mean, I'm on the internet in general. The thing is, like, getting criticism or getting hatred is unavoidable. And many people, would tell me, Like, why do you care? You're Canadian. You talk about animation. This has nothing to do with you. Why don't you mind your own business? You know, like, I get that a lot. But the people who say that, they seriously doubt the power that America has over everyone else around the world. We are talking about one of the most powerful nations in the world. And of course, this is going to have an effect over everyone else. Like, even though I'm Canadian, like, I'm just one step away from America. So of course, this does affect me. And whatever happens with the economy, the fact that it connects to so many different outlets from all around the world, like, what's going to happen with the economy, whether if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down, for many people, it will heavily depend on what's going to happen with the United States. You know, like, if he can actually do a good job or if he ends up with a bad job, like, it's going to affect us as well. But even though I will say this, that, you know, I do feel a bit thankful that I am a Canadian. Because even though this is not going to affect me, this will absolutely affect, well, okay, like, it's not going to affect me as much. This will absolutely affect the rest of the people in America. They are going to be the ones who shall pay the price the most. And the way that I see it, the way that I see what's going to happen in the future of America, at this point, like, this is, like, because that Trump won, this is also the day that hatred won. I've said this before in the animation podcast that a vote for Trump would be a vote for hate. Well, that's exactly what happened. It was the day that hatred won. It was the day that fascism won, that racism won, that sexism won, that bullies won. That was the day that those people won, and that hatred absolutely won. And because of this, in America, what I can imagine that will happen is that being triggered will be more easy than it ever was before. That I can guarantee you it. And that could be something that could also affect globally. Like, something that wouldn't necessarily matter, they're going to go absolutely ballistic. Like, even for me, I'm just someone who would, like, one of the things that I do online is that I review animated films on YouTube. Like, if there's something that they disagree with, oh, they're going to go ballistic. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm going to see a lot more people that they're going to let out all their emotions and they're going to be absolutely raging in the comment section. In fact, the comment section will end up becoming a giant battleground. No matter how you feel about the situation, it could be something as small as liking or not liking a movie. And sadly, it wouldn't even surprise me that controversies like what happened with the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, it's going to happen again. You know, this might not be the first time we'll experience this, that we're going to see two groups of people completely fighting each other online, or even outside of online, like in real life. Like, they're going to fight each other to the point that they're just going to make a huge mountain out of a molehill, when, like, it's just a movie, you know? And the only people that are going to pay is going to be the studios. Like, what happened with Ghostbusters? The one that ultimately lost was Sony. They lost like more than $70 million because of what happened with Ghostbusters, because it ended up as a flop at the box office. And with that said, now this is just what's going to happen online. Now, it could be possible that people are going to be easily triggered. They're going to be a lot more outspoken about how they feel, and, you know, just let out even some things that are not necessarily nice, like racism, bigotry, sexism, and all that kind of stuff. They're like the masks are pretty much off. But at the same time, outside of the internet, I can imagine that in America, there's going to be a lot more activists, a lot more people. They're going to fight for their rights. Because the thing is, during the election, Donald Trump has threatened so many people. He has threatened just the rights of so many individuals just for who they are. He threatened the rights to immigrants, to Muslims, to women, to the LGBT community, to so many of these people. And that's why you're going to see a lot more activists that are going to be on the rise, and they will be very, very active. It wouldn't surprise me if it could happen on a regular basis. I can imagine that there are going to be women out there that, you know, they're going to fight for women's rights. We're going to see a major rise in Black Lives Matter. We are going to see, you know, the LGBT community try to hold on to their dear life, to what they've recently gotten, that the whole nation can finally be allowed to be married to whoever they are. They're going to hold on tight to that and make sure the new government isn't going to just suddenly take that away. Like, all these things, women's rights, immigrants' rights, Muslims' rights, the LGBT community's rights, everybody's rights is going to be in danger. And that's why we are going to see so many things that are going to happen. We are going to see activism on the rise. In fact, honestly, like, the one thing that wouldn't surprise me is that we might actually see V for Vendetta possibly coming to life. I mean, instead of being in the UK, it's going to happen in the US. That's the level of activism that we are going to see. People who are going to fight for their lives, to fight against the government in order to maintain the rights of being an individual. That it's not just going to be white Christian straight males that are going to get all the privileges that they want. You know, they want to have an equal share. That, I can imagine, is what's going to happen. And honestly, with Trump becoming president, it would not surprise me at all if we are going to see some really bad disasters. I mean, like I said before, nobody would ever think that Donald Trump would actually become president. But now that it did happen, who knows what's going to happen next? I mean, with the way that he won by bringing fear upon half of an entire nation, who knows what he's going to do next? Are we going to see a second Great Depression because, like, he's going to screw up so bad financially and put America in such debt that it's going to affect everybody around the world and jobs are going to be pretty scarce? Maybe. Are we going to see a third world war where Donald Trump is going to declare, like so many of these different wars, but so many countries are going to unite to fight against America in the same way that in the last World War that all the nations got together to fight against Germany? Maybe. Or are we even going to see a second civil war where Americans are going to fight against other Americans and the rest of America is just going to be this giant war ground? Maybe. Who knows what's going to happen? But I will say this. No matter what the outcome shall be, no matter what's going to happen in the US, I just want to mention this to all the people in America. No matter what happens, you chose this to happen. You chose Donald Trump to be president. And no matter what the outcome will be, it's easy to blame Donald Trump for what's going to happen. I mean, and he'll be responsible for the disasters that could potentially happen just by his stupid decisions. But the number one person to blame is you, because you are the one that let him be in the office, and you chose him to go out and make all these important decisions to lead the country. You chose him to be the leader of your country, to be the representative of who America is. You chose to have fascism, to have sexism, to have racism, to have homophobia, and to have bullies be the representative of America. And that's kind of the image that you're pretty much bringing to the rest of the world. That's why every single other country is looking down upon America. That's why they're disregarding them. That's why they're making fun of you. Because apparently, you are a country that decided bigotry and discrimination over unity and love. You chose that. You put that upon yourself. And even though maybe you individually, like maybe you yourself, you did not vote for Donald Trump. You voted for either a third party or you voted for Hillary Clinton. Like, even though you might have done that, you still live in a country that still decided to put him as president. Just remember that. And at this point, even though this might not sound necessarily pleasant, I'm sure a lot of you are probably wondering that the worst outcome has finally happened. The worst candidate in the history of America has now become president, and the country decided to put him there. Now what? That's pretty much the question that's pretty much plaguing everyone. Not just in the US, but all around the world. What can you do now? Well, I'll tell you what to do. What I want you to do is that I want you to continue what you are doing just like if nothing happened. Just continue what you are doing now. And at this point, now that Donald Trump is the new president, and that hatred will massively be on the rise, I want you to take a look at either like a book or a movie, or since this is the animation podcast, a piece of animation, whether it be like a Looney Tunes cartoon or like a Disney Mickey Mouse cartoon or anything like that, or even a video game. I want you to take that and you shall cherish it, because a slice of happiness is now going to be more valuable than it ever will be. That's the truth. We are at an age that now hatred is on a rise. We are going to be more dependent on trying to find happiness. That we need to have a bit of joy in the world, because it's easy to look upon how the country or how the rest of the world is going to be now, and it could be a cruel, cruel place. But now, just take a moment to just be happy, to continue what you are doing now and continue doing what you love. Like, even with me, I love animation, and I love talking about animation. I love watching animated films and making fun videos and all that kind of stuff. And this election is not going to stop me from doing what I love to do. So that's what I'm going to continue doing. I'm going to continue to talk about animation. I'm going to continue doing to talk about fun videos. You know, I'm going to continue doing all of these things. It's not going to stop me, because this is what I love to do. And at this point, being happy is starting to be a lot more important. So I'm going to continue to do that. And I want you to do the same thing as well. Like, after listening to this, just go out and try to make yourself happy. No matter what it is. Even just hanging out with a friend. Or just to go have fun outside. No matter what it is. Any little thing that brings you joy, just do it. But there is a little bit of a warning. No matter what happens, in an age that we are entering upon, like I said, we are entering in a new age of humanity. Just be ready. No matter what happens, it could possibly happen. So just prepare yourself for whatever the outcome may be, no matter what kind of disaster may occur. But for now, just cherish what you enjoy. Continue what you're doing right now. Just go and have fun. But no matter what, be ready, be safe, and have fun.